Welcome to Cheat Sheet Tales, where secrets slip, lies unravel, and the truth always has a twist. Real stories, raw confessions, shocking betrayals. Drop a comment if you've ever caught a red flag too late. Now let's get into today's tale. My husband said we couldn't afford a second child, but then I found adoption papers for a baby his sister had and couldn't keep. We're saving her from foster care, his mother said. I wasn't even listed as the co-parent. You didn't need to be, he told me. This is a family matter. I went to the courthouse to contest it and discovered a signature on file under my name that I never wrote. Because Tyler and I had been together for almost a decade, we lived in a small, quiet town in Missouri, the kind of place where everyone knows everyone and secrets don't stay buried for long, unless someone really wants them to. We had a 5-year-old daughter, Zoe, who was the center of my world. I'd been asking Tyler for another baby for over a year, but every time I brought it up, it was the same answer. We can't afford it right now, he'd say, like it was settled, like I was being selfish for even asking. Meanwhile, I'd see friends and neighbors adding to their families, and it just made me feel emptier. I thought maybe if I saved a little more from my part-time job at the preschool, maybe if I showed him the numbers, we could make it work. But Tyler wasn't interested in talking about it. He'd brush me off, or change the subject, or leave the room entirely. I figured maybe it was stress. He'd been working long hours at the hardware store, and I knew his sister, Sierra Lane, had been in trouble again. Another DUI. Another boyfriend who hit her. Another mess she couldn't handle. I tried to be patient, to give Tyler space. Then Sierra Lane showed up at our door. It was a Saturday afternoon. Zoe was coloring at the table. I was folding laundry when I heard a knock. I opened the door, and there was Sierra Lane, looking like hell. Hair greasy, eyes sunken, clothes rumpled. But she wasn't alone. She had a baby in her arms, a tiny, squirming baby boy, maybe 5 months old, with a full head of dark hair and chubby cheeks. And the thing that hit me hardest, the baby had Tyler's eyes. I swear to God, it was like looking at a smaller version of my husband. I asked, Sierra Lane, whose baby is that? She mumbled something about a friend who couldn't handle it. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. Before I could ask more, Tyler appeared behind me, moving fast. We're helping her out, he said, pulling Sierra Lane into the house like this was all normal. I stood there stunned. For the next week, the baby, Noah they called him, was in and out of our house. Sometimes Sierra Lane stayed, sometimes she didn't. It felt like we were babysitting, but no one ever asked me if I was okay with that. Tyler just acted like it was normal, like this was family business. Then I found the papers. I wasn't snooping. I was looking for a pen in Tyler's desk when I saw a manila folder, thick and heavy, tucked in the back. I opened it. Adoption papers. Tyler's name listed as the adoptive father, but not mine. I flipped through the pages in shock. There were court documents, legal notices, signatures. My stomach turned when I saw one page with my name, my signature, but it wasn't my signature. It looked like mine, but not quite. The letters were off. The slant was wrong. It was close enough that someone might think it was real, but I knew it wasn't. Tyler had forged my name. I confronted him that night. I waited until Zoe was asleep. Then I held up the papers in front of him. What is this, Tyler? Did you really adopt Sierra Lane's baby without telling me? Without me? He didn't even try to lie. He just sighed like I was being a pain. It's a family thing. We're keeping him out of foster care. You didn't need to be involved. Could feel my hands shaking. I'm your wife. How could you do this without me? Without even asking me? He looked at me like I was an idiot. You always wanted another kid. So what's the problem? I swear in that moment I didn't even know who I was married to. And then it hit me. Noah looked like Tyler. Those same dark eyes, that same little smirk. I thought back to the nights Tyler had worked late, the times he'd helped Sierra Lane move, the way they'd exchanged glances when they thought I wasn't looking. I started digging. I pulled up old texts, emails, receipts. I went to the courthouse and asked for the full case file on Noah's adoption. When I got the papers, I saw it again. My name, my forged signature, listed as giving consent for the adoption, but I never signed it. I wasn't crazy, wasn't imagining things. I started asking questions. I talked to Sierra Lane's ex, a loser named Danny, who used to bartend down the street. He told me the truth. Noah wasn't just Sierra Lane's kid. He was Tyler's too. Tyler had been sleeping with his sister, his own sister. I felt sick. Everything fell into place. The weird tension, the late nights. The way Sierra Lane clung to Tyler like he was her savior. And now they had this baby. This baby I wasn't supposed to know the truth about. Tyler tried to gaslight me, telling me I was imagining things, that I was overreacting, that it was all for Noah's good. But I wasn't going to let this slide. I was going to make him pay. All of them. Tyler, Sierra Lane, and even his mother, who I found out had been covering for them all along. I wasn't going to let this family destroy mine, not without a fight. After I found out the truth, I couldn't sleep. I'd lay in bed next to Tyler, staring at the ceiling, wondering how long he'd been lying to me, wondering how many nights he'd spent in Sierra Lane's bed while I was at home, pregnant with our daughter. Clueless, he acted like nothing was wrong. Every morning he'd get up, kiss me on the cheek, make coffee, and go off to work. Like he wasn't. A liar, a cheater, and something worse. I didn't tell him what I knew. Not yet. I needed to be smart. I kept digging. I got the full case file from the courthouse, all the legal documents tied to Noah's adoption. It was worse than I thought. There were forgeries I'd never seen before, all with my name signed at the bottom. Medical records, financial disclosures, even a notarized statement saying I agreed to co-parent Noah with Tyler. Even though my name wasn't on the official adoption, it was a damn paper trail of lies. I went to the notary listed on the forgeries, a woman named Diane who worked at a shipping store in town. I asked her if she remembered notarizing the adoption papers. She did. "Yeah, I remember that day," she said. "Tyler came in with Sierra Lane. They both had ID, and they said the other signature was your wife's." I asked her, "Did you ever meet me?" She shook her head. "No, never saw you." That was it. Proof of fraud. But it wasn't just fraud. It was deeper than that. I started looking into Sierra Lane's past more. I found out she'd been pregnant before, years before. A baby she lost in a miscarriage, or so she told people. But old hospital. Records I dug up said otherwise. She had a baby boy born in 2018, 2 months after Tyler took a business trip to visit Sierra Lane when she lived in Nebraska. That boy was Noah. Tyler had been hiding a second family from me. I couldn't keep it in anymore. I confronted him one night after Zoe went to sleep. I laid out everything. The papers, the signatures, the hospital records, the notary statement. He didn't even deny it. He just sat there stone-faced, like it was no big deal. "It's done now. What do you want me to do? Abandon my son? Abandon my sister when she needs help?" I felt like the floor was dropping out from under me. "That's not your sister's son." "That's your son, isn't it?" I asked, my voice shaking. He stared at me, didn't say a word, just stared. That silence told me everything. I told him I wanted a divorce. He laughed. "You won't get far. You have no job, no money, and if you try to take Zoe from me, I'll tell the court you're unstable, that you're jealous." of Noah, that you tried to keep him from his family. That's when I realized his mother was in on it too. She came over the next day, acting like I was the problem. She sat me down in the kitchen and said, "Honey, you need to calm down. This is what families do for each other." Sierra Lane couldn't keep Noah, so Tyler stepped in. That's how we take care of our own. I was shaking with rage. I asked her, "Why wasn't I told? Why wasn't I part of this decision?" She smirked. "Because you didn't need to be. This is a family matter. You're just the wife. That was the moment I knew. None of them saw me as part of the family. Not really. I was just the babysitter, the cook, the placeholder. I started planning my revenge. Quietly, carefully. I wasn't going to let them destroy my life and get away with it. I started gathering proof, every piece of paper, every record, every text. I took photos of the adoption papers, the forged signatures, the notary statements. I got copies of the court files, even paid a clerk under the table to get the full sealed record. Then I found the nail in the coffin. There was a letter in the court file. A letter written by Tyler to the judge, pleading for expedited adoption approval because the child was at risk of neglect if not placed with him immediately. In that letter, he claimed I supported the adoption fully, that we'd discussed it at length as a family decision. He even included a fake letter, supposedly written by me, saying I was grateful for the chance to expand our family. I sat there staring at it, feeling like I was going to throw up. It wasn't just fraud. It was premeditated. They planned this behind my back for months. I thought about going to the police, but I knew Tyler. He was smooth. He knew how to lie, how to twist things. He'd say I was bitter, unstable, jealous of Sierra Lane and the baby. He'd play the victim for the good of the child. I needed a different approach. I started documenting everything. I recorded conversations. I got a hidden camera app on my phone. I even installed a baby monitor in the living room, one that looked like an air purifier, just to catch them talking when they thought I wasn't around. It didn't take long. One night, Sierra Lane came over, drunk, and she and Tyler sat in the living room after I went to bed. I listened from my room, heart pounding. Sierra Lane giggled, slurring her words. "It's so funny. She really thinks Noah isn't ours." Tyler's voice was low, cold. "She's not. Going to find out, okay? She's not smart enough. She's just there." Sierra Lane laughed again. "I can't believe she still thinks we're siblings." That's when it hit me. They weren't even related. Tyler and Sierra Lane had been lying about that too. I did some digging. Birth certificates, family records. Turns out Sierra Lane wasn't Tyler's sister. She was his ex from way back, and they'd cooked up the sister story when they moved here. They'd been running this lie for years, conning people, covering up their mess. I felt like I was living in a nightmare, but I wasn't going to let them win. I talked to a lawyer quietly, carefully. I told him everything. About the forgery, the fake adoption, the fraud. He told me I had a strong case, but it would be a fight. Tyler had money, he had connections, and he was already building a case to make me look like the bad guy. I needed more. So I went to Child Protective Services. I told them everything. I gave them the documents, the recordings, the proof. They opened an investigation into Tyler, Sierra Lane, and even his mother for conspiracy and fraud. That's when things really exploded. Tyler found out I'd gone to CPS and lost it. He screamed at me, threw a glass against the wall, and said I was trying to destroy our family. I told him he wasn't my family anymore. I packed Zoe's things, got a temporary restraining order, and moved in with my cousin an hour away. But I wasn't done. Not even close. I wasn't just going to walk away. They thought they could ruin my life and keep Noah like it was nothing. They thought they could erase me like I was some side character in their little story. They didn't expect me to fight back. When I left, I took more than just Zoe's clothes. I took the whole case file, the papers, the recordings, the videos, everything. I made copies and sent them to CPS, the family court judge, the county prosecutor, and Tyler's boss. I wasn't subtle. I wanted everyone to see what they did. The storm hit fast. First, the CPS investigation got serious. They questioned Tyler, Sierra Lane, and his mother. They took statements from me, from the notary who admitted she'd been lied to, and even from the neighbors who'd seen Sierra Lane coming and going at weird hours. Then the county prosecutor filed charges: fraud, forgery, conspiracy to defraud the court, perjury. Tyler tried to act like it was all a misunderstanding. He claimed the papers were mixed up, that the signatures were accidental, that they were just trying to help Sierra Lane, but the judge wasn't buying it. Not after the videos, the forged signatures, the notarized statements. And that's when the real twist hit. Sierra Lane cracked. She turned on Tyler in court, in front of everyone. Said Tyler had pressured her into the whole thing, that he told her they could start over together, raise Noah as their own, that he said I would never have to know, that they could erase the past. But Sierra Lane didn't stop there. She admitted the worst part, that Tyler wasn't just her ex. He was the father of her first baby too. A baby they'd quietly placed for adoption before we got married. Tyler had been lying to me for almost a decade, and his mother, she knew. She knew. She'd been covering it all up, pushing the whole family takes care of family lie to keep the secret buried. The judge ruled against Tyler hard. The adoption was reversed. Noah was removed from their custody immediately. CPS placed him in a safe foster home, and the court started termination proceedings on Tyler's parental rights. Tyler was arrested in the courtroom. Sierra Lane was put on probation for her role, but they told her if she didn't cooperate, she'd face charges too. His mother tried to play the sweet old lady routine, but the court didn't care. She was charged as an accessory for covering up the fraud. As for me, I filed for divorce, got full custody of Zoe. The court granted a protective order against Tyler, Sierra Lane, and his mother. They can't come near me or Zoe again, but I wasn't done yet. I sued Tyler for emotional distress, forgery, and financial damages. Won a huge settlement, enough to buy a new house, pay for Zoe's college, and set up a trust for her future. Tyler lost everything. His job fired him after the scandal. He was blacklisted from every hardware chain in the state. Sierra Lane tried to crawl back to her old life, but everyone in town knew the truth. She became a pariah. Couldn't find work, couldn't get her kid back, couldn't get a break. And Tyler's mother? She had to sell her house to pay her legal bills. Her little empire of family secrets crumbled around her. As for Noah, I still think about him sometimes. He's safe now in a real home with people who love him and didn't lie to get him there. It wasn't easy. It took everything I had. But in the end, I burned their world to the ground and walked away with mine still standing. And I swear to God, I'll never let anyone try to erase me again. Tyler didn't see it coming. None of them did. The day of the final court hearing, I walked into that courthouse with my head held high. Tyler, Sierra Lane, and his mother were already there, whispering to each other like a pack of rats. Tyler tried to stare me down as I took my seat across the aisle. I stared right back. The judge came in looking tired and annoyed, like this case had been a mess from the start. And it had. Tyler's lawyer tried to argue that this was a family misunderstanding, that no harm was intended, that the forged signatures were just mistaken paperwork. But the judge wasn't having it. He leaned forward, flipping through the documents I'd submitted. The forged signatures, the fake notary for Jenna, the bank transfers, Tyler made to Sierra Lane under the table, the recordings of them talking about getting away with it. The judge looked Tyler dead in the eye and said, "Mr. Bowers, you're a liar, a fraud, and a manipulator. This court doesn't tolerate deception, and we certainly don't tolerate conspiracies to defraud the state and bypass adoption laws." Then he looked at me. Jenna, you've shown incredible strength and determination in uncovering the truth. This court rules in your favor. The adoption is void. The child, Noah, will be placed into the custody of the state until a suitable, honest adoptive family is found. I felt a weight lift off my chest. But the judge wasn't done. He turned back to Tyler, Sierra Lane, and his mother. "As for the defendants, Mr. Bowers, you're ordered to pay $250,000 in damages for fraud, emotional distress, and legal costs. You will also serve 18 months in county jail, followed by probation." Tyler's mouth fell open. Sierra Lane burst into tears. The judge kept going. "Sierra Lane Carter, you are placed on 5 years probation for your role in this conspiracy. If you violate any terms of probation, you will face up to 2 years in prison." Sierra Lane sobbed, her mascara streaking down her face. And finally, "Mrs. Bowers, Mrs. Marilyn Bowers, you are fined $50,000 for your involvement and are barred from having any custody or legal authority over Noah or any other minor child in the state of Missouri." Marilyn's face went pale. It was over. The moment court adjourned, I stood up and walked out without saying a word. Tyler tried to follow me, but the bailiff stopped him. I heard him calling after me, his voice desperate. "Please, can we just talk? Please?" I didn't look back. I left him there, his world in ruins, his family shattered, his lies exposed for everyone to see. In the weeks that followed, the fallout was brutal. Tyler lost his job. Word got out around town about the fraud, the lies, the twisted relationship with Sierra Lane. His boss at the hardware store fired him on the spot. No one else in town would hire him. He tried to pick up odd jobs, but people wouldn't even let him mow their lawns. Sierra Lane tried to move out of town, but everywhere she went, the story followed her. No one would hire her. Her probation officer kept a close eye on her. The whispering behind her back never stopped. And Marilyn? She lost her social circle. The other women at church, once her friends, turned on her. They whispered about her behind her back, called her a fraud, a liar, a schemer. She sold her house to pay her fines and moved into a rundown apartment on the edge of town. I took Zoe and moved into a new house across the state line, closer to my family. A fresh start. I found a new teaching job. Zoe started kindergarten at a sweet little school with a good reputation. I never looked back. But the best part. Tyler tried to fight for visitation rights with Zoe. He filed a motion claiming I was alienating him, and that Zoe deserved to know her father. The judge shut it down hard, citing the fraud, the forgery, the family abuse. Tyler was stripped of all parental rights. He can't come near Zoe ever. And Noah? He was adopted by a loving couple across the state, a family with no secrets, no lies, no twisted history. I checked just once. They renamed him, gave him a fresh start, a clean slate. As for me, I walk taller now. I look people in the eye. I know I'm stronger than I ever thought I could be. Tyler thought he could erase me, replace me. But in the end, I erased him. His lies, his secrets, his whole twisted world. Gone. And I'm still standing. That's the end of it. And I'm damn proud of how it turned out.